Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video. I'm so excited for the next few weeks going into July because two of my most favorite readathons are happening, which is Tome Topple and then Summerween. And I am just over the moon excited to participate. It's been a while since I've really participated in a readathon like full force. And so I'm hoping that this time around I can really focus and get some books read for two of my most favorite readathons in the world. So without further ado, let's jump into my Tome Topple and Summerween TBR for 2024. We're gonna start off with Tome Topple, number one, because there's no prompts. It's just about reading books that are 500 pages or more. Sometimes there are prompts. I shouldn't say that there aren't any prompts, but I haven't seen any for this year. And so I'm just going in with a stack of books and not following any kind of prompts if there are any. I don't think there are though. And Tome Topple runs from June 21st through July 4th. Now I have 6 books here. I'm hoping to read 4. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to read about 2 a week. I think it's doable. We shall see. A couple of these I talked about in past videos, so I'm not going to talk too much about them, but I am hoping to read Halcyon. I think this is in my summer TBR video. This has been on my TBR for a few years. I think this has to do with like a utopia type of island where, of course, everything goes wrong, but I don't know much more about it. In my mid-year book Freak Out tag, I did talk about Cape and the Ghoul and Dreams of the Dying. These two, of course, on my TBR, and I'm hoping that out of all of these two get read. Then I have Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. The acknowledgements land right on the 500 page mark, so I'm adding this. So it's technically 499 pages, but like, are you gonna tell on me? I'm like really looking forward to reading this. It's been on my TBR for a few years already. I actually own the whole trilogy and I've never read anything by this author. But speaking of this author, The Book That Wouldn't Burn, I would love to get to this one too. I've heard great things about this author, so I'm not worried. I think I would really like his work, but I got sent this for review a couple months back and I've been eyeing it and fingers crossed that I get to it. Obviously 2 of these books aren't gonna make it, like aren't gonna get read, but we can hope. The Demon Awakens by R.A. Salvatore. This is another author that I have been dying to get to. The thing with me is that especially when they're like big authors like this or they have a long backlist, I like to chronologically read their works. I don't know why my brain does this, but it just does. So I've had The Crystal Shard, which I believe is his first book. I could be completely wrong, but I'm like 95% sure that it is. I've had that on my shelves and on my TBR for a hot little minute, but I just recently received this one and it seems so interesting. So I think I'm going to start off with this one and then I'll work my way back to the beginning of his works. If you've read anything by Mark Lawrence or R.A. Salvatore, please let me know and let me know which of their works are your favorite. Now let's jump into Summerween. Luckily, the day after Tome Topple ends, Summerween begins. When these 2 readathons came out, well, Summerween has been announced forever, but when Tome Topple was announced, I was like, please do not coincide with Summerween. Like I was praying and hoping, and lo and behold, it ends July 4th and July 5th Summerween starts. Like that's meant to be. Like how perfect is that? I have 5 books here that I want to tackle. Will I get to all 5 in the 1 week? Your guess is as good as mine. I would venture to say probably not, but like I said at the beginning, I really want to focus and like hunker down and really try to do the best that I can and just focus on the 2 readathons while they're happening and get as much as I can read. I get really distracted. I get very bored easily, and so it's really hard for me to have long periods of time of reading, but I'm really going to try to for the readathons. Now there are 5 prompts for Summerween. I have a book per prompt at the moment, but you can really double down, like read a book in the dark. You can use one of the other books that you're reading, you know, like it doesn't have to be 5 books. I know that I'm overdoing it, but Hi, I'm a Virgo. So to read a book in the dark, I am going to choose Until Summer Comes Around by Glenn Rolfe. I also have an e-arc of this. I ended up buying the physical copy when Flame Tree Press was having one of their sales. And so since I have the ebook, I can read this book in the dark. I cannot read an actual book in the dark because my eyes will just be like, what are you doing? We don't do this. And so I'm gonna be reading it off my Kindle just to make it easier on my eyes and my brain. Another one of the prompts is to read a thriller or horror book. I'm gonna choose Madman Across the Water. They're kind of like short reads, so I think I could get through them in a week's time, but this one, I think I spoke about it in my mid-year book freakout tag as well, that it's on my 24 books to read in 24. I'm trying to knock them out because, like I said in that video, I haven't read any of those books, so I thought I would add this one for this TBR as well, and I really want to read it. I don't know what that book is about. I just realized I haven't said what any of these books are except for Halcyon, but please forgive me. I've mentioned in other videos that I like to go into my books blind, so that's why for a lot of these, I don't know what their synopsises are. Read a book with the night sky. Another thing that I was trying to accomplish with this TBR was not to add super popular books that I'm pretty sure everybody is probably going to be reading. Horror movie or the new Riley Sager or maybe even the new King. I'm not sure. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking shit. But I think that that's going to be in the majority of the TBRs this year. And so I wanted to keep it a little bit different and showcase maybe books that are by indie publishers or indie authors. And also, if you guys saw I think it was like 2 years ago, I did an AuthorCon horror book haul. All of those books on that TBR, I don't think I've read any of them. And so I wanted to incorporate some of those in this TBR, but I do have a popular book that you will be seeing pretty soon. But Night Sky, let's get back to that prompt. I want to read Hank Flynn by Candice Nola. This is why I said all of that, because this was one of the books that I bought at that convention, and also it's an author I've never read before and I've heard great things, and I think this is a little bit maybe extreme horror. I could be wrong because I know that she writes extreme horror, or I've heard, and so I'm not sure if this is or isn't, but let me tell you at least one of the synopsises. Hank Flynn is a tormented man. He's an outcast among humans and condemned to confront evil for as long as he lives. Serving a higher power, Hank wanders the earth alone until he stumbles into Protection, Kansas. Mortally wounded and delirious after a demonic encounter, Hank Flynn is desperate for help. Wallace Bixby, a local merchant and man of faith, graciously opens his home to the broken stranger. Hank Flynn discovers the meaning of family and community, and the avenging drifter finds peace with Josie Bixby, the young woman who heals his body and his heart. The town of Protection is exactly what Hank needs, and the town needs the man with special talents, who slays demons. He deals out a unique brand of punishment to anything breaking the law or threatening the people he loves. But when the devil himself comes calling, Hank Flynn must risk everything for the town he now calls home. Maybe it's not extreme. That doesn't sound very extreme. But when I met her and I was at her booth, like checking out her books, I asked her, which one of these do you absolutely recommend? Like, which one of these do you want readers to read? And she pointed to this one. And so I bought it. Read a book with 5 words on the title. The only thing that I found in my collection, I'm sure if I would have looked harder, I would have found something else, but I've wanted to read this for a very long time and I can't believe I still haven't read it. It is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I think it's time, and this is the perfect prompt to choose this. I don't know anything about this other than it is a haunted house, and maybe that's another reason why I haven't picked it up, is because I'm not big on haunted house stories. I do have my favorites. I do have the ones that have really hit my soul, but I don't gravitate towards them. So maybe that's my hesitation with this one, but hopefully this is one of the haunted house books that makes it onto my favorites. Maybe, I hope, because it's Grady Hendrix, you know? And then the last and final book on my Summerween TBR is for the prompt that is a book that takes place in the summer, and I'm choosing Summer of Fear by Lois Duncan. This is a book that I put on my summer TBR, and I've been dying to read it for the past couple of years, so now is the time, and especially since it's such a little book, it's perfect for a readathon. So that's it, you guys. Those are all the books that I want to read for Tome Topple and Summerween. So let me know, are you participating in any of these readathons? And if you are, what is on your TBR? And if you're not, why not? Let's chat books in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.